Seeking the shortest path from farm to feast, Scott's Place proudly lists the locations of the purveyors that supply both the restaurant and the cafe, as they're the ones that make their modern California cuisine possible. You'll find it all on Folsom in San Francisco at Radius Restaurant and Café.
Our concept is locally sourced California cuisine. For us, it's really about three things, which is, traceability, quality, and community. I'm John Whitehead. I'm the owner of Radius Restaurant in San Francisco. We source all of our ingredients, our meat, our seafood, and our produce from a 100-mile radius. Instead of having international wine lists, we really wanted to focus on what's being made in our backyard. We're forming relationships with these farmers, with these winemakers, and I think that the quality really shines through in the meal. In the last 3 years, we've really seen the stretch of Folsom sort of blossom. We took over the old Julie's Supper Club. It had been shuttered for about 2 years, and it took us about 6 months to really turn it back into the gym that it always had been. We found the original 1906 Douglas fir floors. There was a large dance floor that we removed. We actually made all of our tables out of that dance floor. We have a cafe and a restaurant. Cafe's open for lunch. Restaurant is really a little more elegant. It's great for large groups. It's a very comfortable setting to start your evening or end your evening. So this really is a quintessential San Francisco restaurant. As soon as you walk through the door, I want you to have one of the best experiences of your life.
Now, Scott, Radius is all about local. Is that what drew you to it in the first place?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's very much a local restaurant that's built on passion for fresh ingredients, local ingredients.
And what do you get when you go? Do you crave something?
My go-to at Radius is honestly the fried chicken. This fried chicken is off the charts. It's juicy, it's succulent. The batter is perfectly spiced. It's not too thick. And then it's paired with this amazing dish of Brussels sprouts along with some ham hock, which just gives it this amazingly rich texture, and it just sort of wows the plate.
So I have to agree with you. It was really moist. I could definitely tell they brined it in some way, and I have to agree.
Soak it for 24 hours in buttermilk.
Exactly,
wow.
Exactly. I absolutely loved the Brussels sprouts. They were one of my favorite things about the entire experience. But the chicken, the skin, the way you described it, I wish it did that for me. It was kind of a miss for me. To me, the skin was too thick. It almost had, and I really hate to say this, but like kind of a shake and bake texture. It was a miss for me.
But the chicken inside.
The chicken was so moist and delicious, and I almost would have just preferred taking the crust off and eating it like that.
We had the trout, which was awesome. It was fantastic. And then we also had the lamb, which was amazing, and I was really blown away. Everything was just cooked so nicely, and it's so easy to overdo trout, and it was so nice and pink and juicy, and the skin was so crispy, and it was awesome with the 2 big pieces of rye on the side. The lamb, it was so stringy, and it just came apart, and then it had that, it was like this almond, it was almost like a hash or something.
You're just so happy.
Crunchy, I thought everything put on the table was fantastic. The other thing that was so impressive to me is when you look at the menu, and at the bottom it lists
that was really cool.
all the ingredients and where they were sourced from. That really shows a restaurant that cares and is really committed to their philosophy.
And it's not an overly large menu or overly large wine list, really a one-page wine list, but it's all about local wines.
Absolutely.
Did you drink some wine?
Absolutely. I mean, truthfully, I always bring wine to restaurants that I go to, but
always?
Always.
Really?
I have a little bit of a wine cellar.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But truthfully, truth be told, if you know what you're doing with wine, that list is fantastic, and there actually are some values.
No,
there's some great values.
And they have nice, by the glass prices and nice bottle prices. And
absolutely,
yeah, absolutely.
And one of the things we didn't talk about were the appetizers. One of my favorites is the pork belly. Incredible, crispy on the outside, succulent in the inside, melts in your mouth. Crazy, they pair it with a kimchi, which you wouldn't think of, but the sweet and the savory, like it just, your mouth just explodes. It's just incredible.
I had several dishes. We actually wound up ordering the prefix, but we actually ordered a few extra dishes too. We started off with the Jerusalem artichoke soup, which was very beautiful. It was very clean. It was just a nice way to sort of prepare your palate. They had a sunflower sprout in there, and I've never had that before. And it was so lovely, and it had just just this really interesting texture, similar to a watercress. I love that I was able to experience something new that I've never had.
And talk a little bit about the ambiance, because right next door is the cafe.
Right. Yeah, so the cafe is definitely more built toward a breakfast lunch sort of a scenario. And they do, it's the same concept.
Right. Desserts? Do you even make it there?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about the dark chocolate cake with white chocolate ganache, pillows, and topped with an extremely thin layer of dark chocolate. Wow. Just exquisite. I mean, melts in your mouth, perfect consistency, beautiful.
Did you try desserts?
I did. I beyond tried them. I inhaled them. It was the lemon.
I had that too.
Oh God, the lemon curd. I think it was the.
Yeah.
It was like this big wedge, and it just had these dollops of cream on the side.
The meringue.
Right,
yeah.
the meringue. It just kind of fell apart when you put the fork in there. You know, it was awesome. Yeah, it was fantastic.
I will have to say that my idea and how I really judge all restaurants on their dessert menu and their pastry side is if you can really nail a dessert without it being too sweet.
Right.
And they did. And the lemon curd, it was just perfectly tangy, but it had a beautiful bottom crust that was nice and buttery and had a little bit of sweetness. And then to the cake, it was very rich, but it wasn't too sweet. And so I think they definitely have a very wonderful pastry program there.
All right, it's your restaurant, Scott, so give us a quick summary.
If you're looking for a local restaurant that is passionate about fresh, local, sustainable ingredients, Radius needs to be at the top of your list.
All right, LB.
I thought that Radius was fantastic. I mean, from top to bottom, it was an excellent meal. The atmosphere, the service, the experience was great. I mean, I'd eat there every night if I could.
All right, and Emily?
Yeah.
If I lived in the neighborhood or if I was around the Soma area, you know, after work, I think it'd be a great spot to grab a glass of wine, sit at the bar, catch up with a girlfriend, enjoy some of the delicious appetizers. So I definitely think it's worth checking out again.
All right, if you would like to try Radius Restaurant and Café, it's on Folsom between 7th and 8th in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-525-3676. It's open for dinner Tuesday through Saturday. Reservations are recommended, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $50.